This podcast is sponsored by nobody. Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now, it is 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, everybody. I hope you are all barbecuing, hot dogs, hamburgers, eating hot apple pie, and firecracking on the 4th of July. That's a David Lee Roth reference. But I hope you're all being independent, nevertheless. Today, I will be talking to, or I should say nighttime, I will be talking to Greg Gilbert. He's coming back on for the third time. He is the Python Hyena himself, the host of Python's Paradise up in New Brunswick, Canada. And we are going to catch up because he made his United States debut earlier this year. He was in New Jersey for ChillerCon, and he had a roller coaster ride of an experience that weekend. We're going to talk about that, talk about how's everything on the job front, any bridges burned, whatever. And it's always an interesting and amusing conversation to talk to Greg. And also, rest in peace, Robert Towne, the brilliant, legendary screenwriter of many iconic classic films. Two of my favorites, including, with Jack Nicholson, The Last Detail and Chinatown. He also wrote Shampoo, Tequila Sunrise, Days of Thunder, The Firm, and he wrote and directed Personal Best, another favorite of mine. Rest in peace, Robert Towne. So, here is my new interview with Greg Gilbert. Hey, Greg, welcome back. How are you tonight on 4th of July?
I'm working, which I'm working as we speak.
Absolutely.
I can do that. I got my headphones in. I'm an overnight worker. I'm 4 hours ahead of you.
Yeah.
Like where you are, it's 7:30. Where I am, it's 11:30.
Yeah, we just barbecuing. Got my nephew's friends over. We're just having tri-tip tonight, and I'm looking forward to the cherry pie later on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have a little warrant on the record player while you eat that cherry pie.
Yeah. My parents got me that on cassette when I was like 7 for Christmas.
I remember when that came out. I remember all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, I was born in 1972, so there's a lot of the stuff I remember. I've told people, I get asked a lot if I remember anything out of the 70s. I'm like, a little bit. I remember bits and pieces. I definitely remember a lot of the 80s. But I can remember bits and pieces of the 70s. I lived my first 7 years in the 70s, so there you go.
Yeah, if you were born in like 67 or something, you probably would remember more from the 80s. Or from the 70s.
I got two brothers. One was born in 70 and one was born in 76. So we're all 70s. But remember the 80s well, so.
I don't want to go on a tangent about Caddyshack, but I keep getting reminded of something so funny I heard last year. Chevy Chase was on Mark Maron's podcast, and they're talking about Caddyshack, and they start talking about Rodney, and he said that there was a day where Chevy and Rodney went on a golf cart ride, and Rodney was like, "Hey, this is what I call show business. Hey, where's the little boy so we could get some blowjobs here?"
Oh, yeah.
Rodney said that.
I hope Rodney didn't say that.
Oh, he did. He did say that.
Although with the way things are going today, with today's
he was just
bullshit, I wouldn't be surprised.
He was just being shocking, is what he was. That's just how Rodney talked. And there's always been the I don't want to use the word mythology because we know it's real that shit happens in Hollywood and show business. So that's where that was coming from.
I've always been a big Rodney fan. I remember the day he was, when he passed away. I was on my way, at the time I was working at the spring water plant that my dad and grandfather owned, and Dad was taking me to work that day, and I remember it said on the radio, Rodney passed away in 2004, and I felt bad.
Yeah.
Because I was like Rodney, and, especially his stuff in the 80s, like Caddyshack, Easy Money, and Back to School.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but...
So I want to start by asking you this long-winded question. When we did our first interview, you were so angry at life with the whole 13 fanboy debacle, and then last year when I had you on, yeah. But here's the point I'm trying to make. Last year when I had you on, you were angry because you had been fired from the hospital, but this year you seem a little more at peace, despite the fact you want to move to Toronto, you work a lot, and the political climate is insane. So was that be a fair assessment? You seem a little bit more, mellow.
I'm not. I'm still not happy with the hospital because I'm not the only one they got rid of. They got rid of another gentleman who was older than me, and I witnessed what had happened with him. I saw it, and it was not his fault.
Yeah.
And I was never, ever brought in as a witness. And he got fired. Actually, I didn't see him get fired. I drove by his house around Christmas time, and there was a for sale sign in front of it. And I was like, those motherfuckers.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. But yet, they've had somebody who was passed out intoxicated in a patient's room.
Mm-hmm.
All she had to do was go to Alcoholics Anonymous. She's still working. Or somebody could be high. I've heard these stories. People high at work there.
Mm-hmm.
They get their jobs back. Little discipline. With me, all it would have taken was a little bit of anger management.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, I was dealing with some piece of garbage that was rattling around in my personal life. So, things got heated. I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. I was there 13 months, perfect attendance. I got 9 Bravos.
Right.
I worked double shifts, including an 18-hour shift.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to think what a zombie I was at that. And the reason why is because they had a whole lot of people calling in sick. Happens on 3-day weekends, regardless what job.
Mm-hmm.
3-day weekends. When I worked there was 17. It's always that number, 17 people calling sick. Because I saw my supervisor that morning, and she just looked like she was just ready to bail, listening to these messages on the phone of excuses why people can't show up. They're sick on a long weekend. Bullshit. And I asked, I said, do you want me to stay on? Greg, you worked a double. You should go home.
Mm-hmm.
I said, yeah, well, I'm here if you need me. I ended up doing an extra few hours. And I also worked in a unit, and, I've kind of just given up. I was supposed to do a regional and shit to fight that, but I've given up on it. And quite frankly, judging from what I'm hearing from the few people I'm in touch with from that place, it hasn't changed much,
Mm-hmm.
We live in a climate now, and I don't want to sound racist, but if you're an indigenous person, you get to keep your job.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, me and the guy that got fired, we're white males. We live in a time and period where white males are blamed for fuck all everything,
Yep.
So, like I said, I was told, you could be replaced. And my response to that is, no, I can't. Because I just mentioned you all the things I did right. Because I blew up at some asshole.
You have to admit, though, your anger has simmered a little bit. Because I got to be honest, I thought you were going to end up in the psych ward with the way I heard you talking.
No, not quite. Haven't yet. I'm going to be 52 in 4 days.
Uh-huh.
So, on the 8th. So I haven't landed in the psych ward yet. So. But I say to them, this is one thing I'll say. I hope I never get in an accident because I refused to go to that hospital.
Uh-huh.
My doctor wanted me to do my regular physical for the year, and I said, look, I don't mind doing blood work, but I'm not doing it there because I am not putting myself in a position where I'm going to get arrested for getting into a confrontation with somebody, and there's a very big possibility that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not guarantee it. Maybe I'd be okay, but
Right.
I'm not going to put myself in that position. You know, I'm not dealing with that corrupt system. And quite frankly, I think one of the real reasons that they got rid of me
Mm-hmm.
is because they knew that I was aiming for Toronto, and I think that they were looking for a reason to get rid of me.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. I would post stuff about Toronto on my Facebook page, and then some fucker at that workplace, and this is more than one of them, would post, you're not back on this tangent again, are you? Like, it's on my Facebook page. If you don't like it, fuck off, go away.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no reason. I didn't tag their name on it.
I gotta tell you,
I
from
like
from personal experience, all jobs do not want people to be there for temporary when they get the job. They're looking for more like-minded assholes to become managers in that place. And so when they find out you're going to only be there temporary, they're going to try everything they can to make that so.
Well, you want me to tell you is that here's the deal. You know, I did my bit there,
Mm-hmm.
and as far as I'm concerned, I don't need back. There's people there I'm still in touch with that are good people.
Mm-hmm.
I've had 3 supervisors from that place who contacted me after I was let go, and they were, number one, apologetic, and number 2, they said, I got a raw deal. And I was like, you're right. Because, and I'm still hearing it now from people there, that things haven't changed, and they need people like me there. Yep. But like I said,
Mm-hmm.
I have talked, luckily for me, I was still working for a cleaning company one night a week when I was working there.
Right.
So I had that to fall back on. But the places I have been, I told them my situation. Every one of them said the same thing. If it was them, I would not have been let go. But that's
Interesting.
okay.
Yeah.
To them, I say, fuck you. And I am hoping eventually to make it to Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned the political situation. I don't want to get too far into that, but I'm going to say it right now.
Uh-huh.
I'm voting for Pierre Poilievre in the next election. I haven't voted in a long time because I never followed politics.
I know. I took an election off when Trump and Hillary ran.
Well, here's the thing. When I tried to move to Toronto, like I had a job lined up there.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was just going to be a matter of me, you know, finding an apartment and moving into it. Instead, it's like, number one, finding a place that is pet-friendly. I'm sorry, I've actually had ignorant people tell me to dump my cat Skittles and just leave. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Skittles was left to me by Dad, who had passed away in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to dump my cat. No friggin' way. I love my cat.
Right.
And number two, I've been seeing how bad, like where I am right now, my little apartment, I've been in since 2020.
Right.
And I've had people tell me, well, you could always go to Toronto, and if it doesn't work out, you can always move back. Right now, in my apartment, I'm paying about $1,000 a month.
Wow.
And that's because I've been there since 2020. If I came back here, it's not going to be $1,000 a month.
Right.
It'll be close to $2,000. So, you know, I'm damned if I do it, damned if I don't. The only way it's going to work out in Toronto is if I find some niche where I can room with, again, you got to find people you can trust,
Mm-hmm.
and get close enough to the subway system or transit where you can make your way around. Because one of the things I love about Toronto is the subway system. I don't have to have my car there because that subway system stretches clear across, and
Right.
I can just get up and go. And anywhere you can get out, you can go wherever. But I am voting for Poilievre. His policy. They always say all politicians are corrupt. But here's the thing: you guys are stuck between a rock and a hard place with Joe Biden and Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Us, we just got this dipshit named Justin Trudeau fucking everything up. And this is where things are falling into me when I try to find an apartment in Toronto. That's when I started getting the debates between Trudeau and Poilievre coming into my YouTube feed.
Right.
And Poilievre's policies are to axe the tax, the fucking carbon tax we have, axe the tax, fix the budget, build the homes, and stop the crime. Because we have this catch and release policy going on here that is way too corrupt. And right now, I actually met Poilievre at a rally. And it's the first time I ever attended a political rally. And I met him, I shook his hand, got my picture taken with him. And I remember putting the picture on Facebook, and somebody had posted a comment saying, he's a bigot. And I said, why is he a bigot? And they said, because he's going to cause a civil war with the trans situation. Okay, here's where I'm going to go with it. Number one, I don't care what a person, whether they're trans, gay, whatever. I don't care.
Right.
I get along with pretty much anybody. None of that stuff was brought up in the rally. But I am going to say this. Axing the tax, that is good for everybody, trans people included. Building the homes works for everybody, trans people included. Fixing the budget works for everybody, trans people included. And solving the crime or stopping the crime, this whole catch and release thing, works for everybody, trans included.
Right.
I don't think, just judging from what I see, I don't think he is a bigot at all. I think he's thinking more about people in Canada as a whole.
Yeah.
You know, not whether somebody wants to go in this washroom or that washroom, you know? I think that's what he's thinking. I don't think he's got any negativity towards them. Now, I don't know everything about him, but he's our silver lining right now, and he's way ahead in the polls. And just recently, like I said, Trudeau and the Liberals lost St. Paul's in Toronto for the first time in 30 years, which pretty much says a lot about how people feel about everything. And people can go online and they can see all the scandals, whether it be the Nazi in the Common House being applauded, or the Arrive scam bullshit that happened during the pandemic, or the convoy thing there with the truckers convoy there, where he
I don't know that
the
story.
Emergency Act. I'm sorry, but yet you got the other things, protests going on. You don't see him budging on those, you know.
Right.
And by the way, the truckers convoy was peaceful. So, and I know two people who were there for that. So I got a little bit of an idea what was really going on compared to what dipshit in power was telling people. So, like I said, this has kept me from getting to where I want to be.
Yeah.
But I'm not giving up on it. I love Toronto.
Yeah, you can't.
I'm not a big New Brunswick fan. I've lived in New Brunswick my whole life, New Brunswick, Canada. But, and as critical as I am of it, there's a lot of people that like it here. It's a quiet place, you know. I'm not going to fault it on that. But when I first went to Toronto, it was like I'm not in Kansas anymore. It's like I just fell in love with it. And some people say, well, it's all concrete, it's all this and all that. I don't know. I kind of like the neon. I like the billboards. I like the big city.
Right.
Plus, I had to go to Toronto last year. Of course, I was going there anyway for Frightmare in the Falls, but still, I had to go to Toronto last year just to see Poor Things in Dream Scenario.
Right.
Me being a big Emma Stone, we did not get Poor Things in our theater, and yet it won how many Oscars? And I was so happy Emma Stone got her second Oscar because, like, she's been my crush for almost 20 years now, but I had to go to Toronto to see Poor Things. We didn't get it in our fucking theater. Dream Scenario with Nicolas Cage, we didn't get it in our fucking theater. We had the posters up, though. Ooh. And I just found out this weekend, our fucking theater isn't getting Maxine. So I got to make a little road trip to St. John, which is about an hour and 20 minutes away, to go to their theater so I can fucking see Maxine, because I'm not interested in the Kevin Costner Western bomb that's out. I'm not interested in A Quiet Place Day One, and or any other shit that they're shoveling at us, like this new Twisters movie. I didn't like the 96 Twister. I mean, I could watch stuff flush down a toilet and be entertained for 2 hours as opposed to watching that stupid movie.
I hate the Van Halen song in that movie.
No, I thought it was the second highest grossing film of the year. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
You fucking kidding me?
Independence Day was number one.
I think Kingpin with Woody Harrelson was one of the best films of the year.
Oh, yes.
Certainly better than Twister.
I put that, Striptease, and what else? Even though it was a bomb, Carpool, I think I put those as the best of 96.
I thought Carpool was shit. I thought Striptease was shit too, but I'll watch Striptease over Twister.
Yeah.
Simply because Demi Moore looked her best in that movie, but it was still a horrible fucking movie. Tom Arnold did 3 movies that year.
Big Bully, Carpool, what was the third?
The Stupids. Now.
The Stupids, that's right. Oh, God, John Landis' worst movie. Go ahead.
No, it wasn't. Carpool was the worst of the 3.
Yeah.
Big Bully, I wanted to see in the theater here. It didn't come here.
I got some stories about that.
Well, it was directed by Steve Miner, and I was like, he went from Friday the 13th, 2 and 3, and House to this, and there is a little bit of thriller elements towards a certain part of it where he's chasing Rick Moranis around with a nail gun, but.
I talked to Harry Waters Jr., who played Marvin Berry in Back to the Future. He's in Big Bully. He says that was the worst experience he ever had in Hollywood, was making that movie. He said that Tom Arnold and Rick Moranis were always constantly bickering, and there was a producer that was a real asshole. Steve Miner was a great guy. He liked working with Steve Miner, but he says that was the worst experience ever.
Well, I don't think Big Bully was a great movie, but it's one I can kind of, in a way, relate to. So I liked it certainly a lot more than Carpool. Now, The Stupids, I gotta say, I thought it was fucking great.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you, when I went into that movie, I didn't expect much, and I came away thinking, why is this movie so hated? Because, okay, there's so many places in that movie where it's like, the humor, actually not what I expected. Like the whole idea of Tom Arnold and Jessica Lundy and the kids being so naive that they can't realize that the whole plot is that somebody's taking their garbage once a week. Yeah, the
Yeah.
garbage bin. But I like it how in their minds it's a big conspiracy. Who's taking their garbage?
I grew up on the books. Like, they used to read it in elementary school, The Stupids, you know. So I was pretty happy because I think in hindsight, New Line had such a huge hit with Dumb and Dumber. They thought, okay, being dumb or stupid is the thing now, so let's adapt to Stupids. And it was a huge flop, and it's considered to be one of the worst movies of all time.
I love Dumb and Dumber. I saw Dumb and Dumber on its opening night at our old Kmart Plaza.
I saw it 3 times in the theater.
Yeah. I saw it twice in the theater, and I remember my brother Andrew and I saw it that opening night, and I still love Dumb and Dumber. It's
Yeah, me too.
Special place with me. But with the Stupids, I like it when Tom Arnold goes into the garage. Mm-hmm. You would think a person would just get in the car.
Right.
He sees a bike, 2 wheels. He looks at the car, obvious choice, 4 wheels. Then he sees a roller skate, 8 wheels. He gets but there's certain, as stupid as it is, I'm kind of like, I get the logic in his mind on it, 8 wheels. But I'm going to tell you something else I admired about the Stupids was the fact that Jessica Lundy was allowed to be funny. Because most times they have the female be the straight one, you know, who's serious.
She's great.
And she doesn't get the best scenes. I loved it when she had to be in disguise to go in this place. And she couldn't be any more of a friggin' standout if she tried.
Yeah.
I love that about it. So I was able to look at the Stupids and say, you know what? I'm enjoying this a lot more than I probably should.
Right.
Because I don't think the humor is as dumb as what has been presented. I think it took a little bit of brains to come up with some of that, you know?
I need to see it again. Maybe I'll like it on second viewing, but I saw it when it was first on Showtime, and I was like, this is really stupid. I could see why people hate it. But maybe my opinion will change if I watch it again.
Yeah, I actually didn't mind it, and I had a pretty good time with it, you know? Mm-hmm. So, but I'm kind of going through right now and doing my film reviews, and because there's a lot of stuff I forget, you know, that I ever reviewed, and I start with 1996, the year I started reviewing movies, and and I was going to go with going through Wikipedia, going with picking 5 films each month to do a capsule review on. Mm-hmm. Which would give me 60 a year, but then I'm thinking, if I go an extra 12, it gives me 72, which kind of aligns with my birth year.
Yeah.
Plus, if I go through the category of each year, I can get the foreign films and stuff like that, which Wikipedia almost never includes.
Yeah.
So on the American list, so I can see some of the other films, and so I've been kind of going through and doing that, and there's a lot of stuff I previously reviewed when they came out that I'm kind of looking at them and going, what would I have gone to see now? You know, and I'm going 96 up to the present, but after I get to the present, I'm going to go 95 and back and just kind of going and looking at them and thinking, you know, what would I go see? Because I'm telling you right now, I would have gone to see the Stupids if we went and saw it, if we got it here. I would not have gone to Twister, because I remember I wasn't interested in it to begin with. I wasn't interested in Independence Day, you know. There's a lot of stuff like that. When they came out, because I remember my attitude when they came out. I wasn't interested. Now, Striptease, I was interested in. I didn't like it, but I was interested. So I'm kind of going through and looking, what would I have gone to see now if they were playing and they were first being pitched? And a lot of my taste leaned towards... I like a lot of horror films. I like a lot of comedies, especially teen comedies. And a lot of, I like innovative, creative filmmaking.
Right.
And when I say that, I'm talking about guys like Stanley Kubrick, guys like David Lynch, guys like that, you know, that have a niche to create stuff that stand out. There's a reason I'm planning to go to St. John, 120 minutes away, to see Maxine, because there's fucking nothing in our theater that... There's stuff I haven't seen, but it's like, I don't want to see it. And by the way, this is strike 2 to the Fredericton Cineplex here.
Yeah.
We didn't get Kinds of Kindness. And that had Emma Stone in it. If you want to know, I was not happy about that.
Yeah.
But apparently none of our theaters, even in New Brunswick, got that. Toronto did. Gee, I'm so glad I didn't get moved there, because I could see better movies.
Yeah.
They're preparing me for the fucking Twisters movie. Great. I'm going to yawn and ignore it, because it looks like shit, and I have no desire to see it. Sorry, no desire to see it. I'm not a big disaster movie fan, period. But we didn't get Kinds of Kindness, and we're not getting Maxine. So I'm like, I loved X, and I loved Pearl. And I think Mia Goth is a powerhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you know what? Fuck off to that. I'll make a road trip to St. John, and this weekend for my birthday, and I'm going to treat myself to Maxine. Since our theater is too fucking cheap to bring in something I want to see. We got Inside Out 2 there, which I thought was actually really good. And they got Despicable Me 4 opening up there. It's getting a little old too for me. I like the first one a lot. You know, If and Garfield and stuff. It's like, how many fucking kids movies do we need?
Yeah.
And then for adults, we got this Kevin Costner Western that apparently it's 3 hours long. And from what I'm hearing, he doesn't appear for some 80 minutes in.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Western person anyway.
Right.
And I have no desire to see it. And I liked Quiet Place 1 and 2. Not really interested in Quiet Place Day 1. Don't care. And I don't know what else I got playing there. I'm just not interested. And I'm like, wow, we're not getting Maxine. Okay. I'll trek, put my GPS on, and I'll trek there. I've never done it before, but
so let's
I want to see Maxine. So hey, X was one of the best horror films I've seen in the last 5 years, maybe 10 years. So there you go.
So let's get into ChillerCon, because, you know, you lost your U.S. travel virginity recently by going to New Jersey at ChillerCon. I'd never been there myself, but I steal guests on their website to interview every year, if they're not already on my radar and stuff. So tell me the experience.
You know what? 2 years ago, I was in Toronto for, I don't know whether it was for Horrorama or Frightmare in the Falls, but as you know, I'm good friends with Lisa Langlois, who introduced me to Toronto, and she had put in my head that, you know, you should get a passport, so sometime, you know, when I do some of this was at the time when she was looking for somebody to rep her and for the cons, which she has now, but she wanted to do some of the U.S. cons because she's heard about the Chillers and all those, you know, and so she encouraged me to get a passport. And so we went, I don't know where we went in Toronto, but she knew where to go. And I went, I got my picture taken there and for the passport and had all these document stuff to fill out. And so Lisa got me set on that. And that was 2 years ago. And I got my passport and I was like, okay. And one day when I was asleep because I work overnight. I'm working as we're talking right now. By the way, unlike my previous job, this job appreciates me.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I haven't missed any time from this either.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Lisa called me and and she told me that she got booked at Chiller. So I was like, okay, what dates? And she told me, and went on the website, and I was like, okay. So I booked the tickets and stuff like that, and I was a little worried about it, and a lot of it has to do with the inflation situation, and I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to afford to do Toronto this fall, because, I mean, I just paid 2 bills tonight. I got paid, and I got paid 2 bills tonight. I'm working, actually, for 2 cleaning companies now.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm constantly either working or sleeping.
Mm-hmm. But you did it.
There's one day I do 14 hours.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me.
But nonetheless, I was looking forward to Chiller and just being able to get away. And the night before I had to go to Chiller, I was in a panic because there was not enough money in my bank account to cover my rent.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was going to have to cancel on doing Chiller. Luckily, when I got home that morning, my pay came in and I had enough to cover my rent for the month, because I've always kept my rent paid,
Yeah.
So, anyway, I was very lucky. I breathed a sigh of relief. I got on the plane, and I went. I gotta say, out of all the places I've went, Toronto's still my love.
Mm-hmm.
New Jersey, I don't know how many. I know Nancy McLaughlin really wants me to come to California, and I'm not saying I won't, but I'm going to tell you there's a few cons when it came to going to Chiller, and one of them was, and again, this has happened since 9/11, I get it, but when I get off the plane in Toronto, when I go from New Brunswick to Toronto, I get off the plane, I get on the shuttle bus or the subway and just go to where I need to go.
Mm-hmm.
Not in the States. Nope, when I landed in Newark, I got directed towards immigration. And I stood in that line for some 2 hours. And I was not impressed.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought I was then I didn't know how long it was going to be to get to the place either. But that was beside the point. I was in this lineup for this. So I got up there. I had no problem as far as getting through. The problem was, this was actually kind of funny. I got up there.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy asked me, very politely, he says, what's your business? What are you doing here? And I told him, I said, I'm doing the Chiller convention. And he looked it up. He says, okay. And he said, are you here on business? And I said, no, I'm here assisting a friend of mine. And I mentioned I was assisting one of the talent. And eventually he asked me who, so I said Lisa Langlois, and he looked her up and he said, this person? And I said, yep. He says, are you making any money here? And I said, no, she's a friend of mine. I'm here just on my own accord.
Yeah.
He goes, you're not making any money. And I mentioned I was a podcaster too, but in your podcast, you're not making any money. And I said, no. I said, I'm here. She's a friend of mine. I haven't seen her in a few months. I said, I'm enjoying some vacation time.
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't get around that.
And who was this who said that? I'm sorry, who said this?
It was a security guy at immigration. So finally I said to him, and this is where it was funny, I said, sir, you want to know what I do for money? He said, yeah. And I said, last night, in the early evenings, I started one of 3 buildings that I cleaned, all of various degrees of sizes. One was an 8-hour building. I said, I worked as a cleaner. I worked from 5 p.m. and I worked clear through, and I haven't had any sleep even as I'm talking to you now.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I've worked all night. I got on a plane, and I came here. He looks at me, and he goes, okay, you can go. But here's the thing. I don't make money at my podcast. I went there. I like going there. Of course, Lisa they had people there that were assisting people, so I didn't really get to do that with Lisa, but I did run a few errands for her. But no, I save my money up and I go to these, like, I think people have a hard time wrapping their minds around that. So, but anyway, the drive from once I got through there, going to the event in Parsippany, that was an $82 cab ride. Wow, this just kept getting better. Anyway, I got there, and it was like about 6 in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
So I got there, and luckily there was a nice woman that was helping Lisa, but I had to put my luggage under her table.
Right.
Now, my room was in the same building, because that's where the guests were, and mine were. And Charles Rosenay, who is a guest on my show, the author of the book of Top 10 Horror List, he and I were splitting a room.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew he was going to be out on the floor selling his books and stuff like that. And so I wasn't going to go and ask him for the keys to go up there. So I put my stuff under Lisa's table, which kept it out of the way. And and then I went and I met Sybil Shepherd. That was the first guest I went and met.
Mm-hmm.
And, yep, so that was Sybil's first signing, and I was kind of keyed in to meet her. I wanted to meet Sybil Shepherd, so I did. But my biggest thing is I've got to learn I need to learn a little willpower at these because, well,
yeah.
My friend the Creepy Ghoul
Mm-hmm.
had said to me, he said his weakness is posters.
Uh-huh.
When he does Horrorama, he said his biggest weakness, he always says he's not going to get posters, and he ends up coming away with at least a couple posters. And he said he doesn't know where to put them,
Yeah.
Well, my weakness is the autographs. I like going around giving out my card and meeting people. And I ended up meeting 22 of them at Chiller, and I was like, fuck me. And I'll tell you, my credit card bill was fun. But, and one of the things, too, is that, and I know there's people involved with the event that would be opposed to this, but I wish they had credit card tap at their table, because I took $1,000 in American money with me,
Mm-hmm.
and by mid-Saturday, that was running low. And so I would ask if anybody had credit card tap. A few of them did. Not many, but a few of them did.
Uh-huh.
And I know there was a big 45th anniversary of the Warriors there. They had about 16 of the cast from that there.
Yeah.
And the biggest funny thing is Dorsey Wright was the only one that had credit card tap. It was funny,
Yeah.
But I did get a few autographs in that room from people I've interviewed, but still, my money was getting low.
Mm-hmm.
But I did find out, though, sometimes that, you come across people that you don't plan to meet, and you end up meeting them out of Bai Ling, for example, on The Crow. She took the picture of me and Tara Buckman, and she was dressed to the nines. Her hair was nice and stylish, black, beautiful. She had like a red bubble jacket on, and her outfit she had on was like, I wouldn't say anime, but
yeah,
there was a lot of figures and stuff on it, and it was like white and oranges and reds and stuff like that, and
right.
She was dressed to the nines, and I was like, wow, I got to meet this person. She did have credit card tap, and she was well worth meeting, and but stuff like that comes up. Charo was another one, had credit card tap, and she was well worth meeting. Like Felissa Rose, she amps it up to 11 at these things. People were asked afterwards on the Chiller site who people enjoyed meeting the most, and there was no downvotes on anybody, but Charo, I think, won out. Like, she amped it up.
Yeah.
And took it to the next level. Like, she would go around. She was obviously really happy to be there, and a pleasure to meet, you know.
Right.
Yep. So I had a good time, and Eddie Micah was nice enough to put me, he gave me passes for all 3 days because I was there with Lisa, and he didn't have to do that. I didn't ask him. What happened is that when she got announced, I posted something about her and told fans what they were going to be expecting, what she was like to meet, and what she was like with fans.
Right.
All very positive. And Eddie Micah, one of the promoters, reached out to me and told me that he's going to give me passes for all 3 days for my association with her. And I was like, you know what? You didn't have to do this, but thank you. And I ran into him finally Saturday. The funny thing about Eddie is I wanted to meet him to get my pass. I didn't get it till Saturday, but I wanted to meet him, and people were saying, oh, you'll find him around. He's near the spot. He's got a black leather vest on. You know how many fucking guys with black leather vests I ran into where I'd asked if they were Eddie and they weren't?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, thanks, guys, for making this easy. But I finally met him on Saturday morning, you know, and we're both cat lovers, so that helped, and kept talking, and William Shatner was set to be there for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. My brother Andrew watches my cat while I'm gone, and he's also my manager.
Right.
And but he watches my cat. He took care of her folks when they were terminally ill, and I like to try to bring him back something. And I was like, what autograph could I get him? Well, I was like, probably the best one to get him would have been William Shatner. And that lineup was going clear out the door and like down the block for William Shatner. And I asked Eddie, I said, how much is William Shatner? Because I've heard outrageous prices. And he said he didn't know. And I told him, I said, you know, I wish I knew, because I said I was going to do with him what I did with Carrie Elwes at Frightmare in the Falls. Get Andrew the autograph picture, and I get my picture taken with the artist. That way we both win out. And I told him that, and he put me in the front of the line. He did not have to do that, but Shatner ended up being $250 for the combo.
Yeah.
Well, a bit steep, but you know what? I was granted access to the front of that line. I was going to take it.
Yeah.
So I got my brother an autographed picture, and I got my picture taken with him. Shatner looked like he had just crawled out of bed.
Yes.
He was like the opposite of Charles.
He's a dick. I know people who have like said, fuck you to him,
He was cordial. I don't know. Just, if it was later on in the day, I would say he probably didn't want to be there, but he just looked like he just crawled out of bed. He looked tired.
Yeah.
So I was very brief with him, and he wouldn't shake hands with me. He fist bumped me, and I was like, okay, I'm okay with that, I get it. But some people are fine. Like, Bai Ling, she gave me a big, big hug in the photo. Tara Buckman of Silent Night, Deadly Night, she gave me she was so happy I made it out there. She said she was wondering if I was going to make it out, because Charles put me in touch with her, and she gave me a big hug. And there was other people I met there too that I've since had on the show. Like, I'm going to butcher her last name, but Anna Karabkino from the Dawn of the Dead Zack Snyder remake. She was the one that had the zombie baby.
Oh yes. I'm going to be interviewing her soon.
Well, she lives in Toronto, and I was like, wow. And that was one of her, we got talking to each other, and I guess she's also a podcaster. Yeah, she does a lot of stuff with women's issues and stuff like that, So I joked with her. I said, look, come on and drag if you want. But she came on my show, and we had a really, really, really nice connection, I really enjoyed meeting her, and happy to have that connection. She was wonderful to meet, and you'll like her.
Yeah.
And another person I met that was such a delight, she was seated by Lisa, was Cindy Winthrop from The Prowler.
I want her so bad. I haven't been able to get anybody from The Prowler on.
You know what? I was supposed to be able to get her on Instagram.
Yeah.
And it fucked up on me.
What happened?
As a result, I went to pitch a message to her, and
oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've had that a few times.
Yeah, I didn't hit enter. I hit another button so I could start a new paragraph.
Yeah, there's something weird going on there. I know exactly.
And it put the message on there, and it says this person will have to blah 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 blah, and I'm like, I didn't get to. So I erased the comment to see if I could start over, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
I was like, you. So I deactivated my Instagram. I was like, fuck you, and fuck you.
Yeah.
So I can't deal. And you know what? She said she'd come on my show too. She was such a delight to meet.
Yeah.
Like, she was such a friendly person, and you could tell she really wanted to be there. And
I'm connected with Chris Goutman on LinkedIn, and he's never responded to me in 3 years. And I reached out to one girl from the movie, and she blocked me. I can't remember which one though, but yeah, I haven't been able to get anybody, and I love that one. That's one of Savini's best, I think, in terms of makeup.
Yeah, but she was a delight to meet. What a friendly woman, If you get a chance to meet her at a con, go meet her. She is a very friendly, very passionate person. I was delighted to meet her, and and I got to meet Stefan Armgren for the first time. He's been on my show a number of times. I finally got to meet him, so.
Once for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know this has nothing to do with you, but I know that the Magic Garden girls were there. Carol Demis, I had her on my anniversary show. We talked roughly 2 hours. It was one of the most delightful conversations I have ever had. And she told me a funny story about having to wear a bath towel on stage one time, and the bath towel fell, and everyone saw her naked back in I think it was the late 60s, early 70s. And she had no problem telling me that story. She was fantastic, and she accepted my friend request today. I looked at her resume. She hasn't done a ton of things that you would know outside of the Magic Garden, but she's a delightful person.
You know what? I don't remember the Magic Garden. I saw them there.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw them there. They had a lot of attention,
Yeah.
But I don't remember. Like, growing up, shows like that, I remember, of course, Mr. Rogers. I remember Mr. Dress Up was big. There was, what else are those shows? I'm blanking on them, But there's a lot of shows like that, but I don't remember the Magic Garden, But
Yeah.
But they definitely had a lot of attention. A lot of people were there to see them. So, and like I said, if money didn't run out, I would have probably met more. Like Griffin Dunn, I did not
love him.
I didn't get to meet. I did meet Rosanna Arquette, though. I was I had some goosebumps meeting Rosanna. She looked great.
Leanne Curtis tried to connect me with her.
Well, I don't think she's going to do my show.
Yeah.
I gave her my card, but I got her to sign a photo from After Hours.
Mm-hmm.
But, she looked great. She looked stunning. But in terms of my overall views of people, there were some I'd already met, like Lisa and Stefan, I got great things to say about. I've interviewed Billy Gray from Thanks to You. You connected me there.
Yep.
Down the day the Earth stood still.
Yep.
I did a little video with him.
Yeah.
And he was great to meet. He's very funny guy. He's 86, I think, but
I am so lucky I've been able to talk to those creature feature movie people that are still alive, because a lot of them are almost dead. I've talked to him. I've talked to Joyce Meadows from the Brain from Planet Arouse, and of course Jackie Joseph, who you've been having trouble connecting with, and God, so many people from those creature feature movies that are still left alive, because that's where it begins, for a lot of kids when horror starts, is the creature features.
I would like to get Jackie Joseph, because I've had Dick Miller on, so I think it would be great, but yeah, I haven't had much luck there. But
she's starting to decline, I'm not going to lie. I had her on last year for the third time, and she was just very forgetful, and I had to do a lot of editing in that one, but if you can try it again, and make it happen, that's great. But yeah, it was challenging talking to her the third time.
Yeah, but nonetheless, I had a great time there. I met the two killer Santas from Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yeah, I want those guys. Yeah.
Eric Freeman gave me his number in his email, but he hasn't gotten back to me, so...
Wait till Christmas time.
Yeah. But, I had a good time with him, and the other guy,
Brian Robert Wilson.
Yeah, he was they were both very friendly.
Yeah, Nasty Neil interviewed him years ago because they met at a convention, and I asked Neil if he would connect us. This is early on of knowing him, and he was like, "Oh, he's very private." It's like, so what? You fucking got him, so why don't you help? Fucking dick.
Yeah, but another guy that's really well worth meeting was William Catt. William Catt reminded me a lot of John Rhys Davies, who I met at Toronto Comic Con one year.
Mm-hmm.
Asked you a lot of questions about you. Now, John Rhys Davies, one difference. John Rhys Davies has got a really great sense of humor. Not that William Catt don't, but William Catt, I remember there was a student and his mom were in front of me, and William Catt was asking him what he wanted to do after college and this and that. And I thought it was really cool that William Catt was just taking interest, and he was amused that I had interviewed the grocery boy from House.
Yeah, I met William Catt. He looked just like my dad when I was a kid, and I showed him a picture of my dad when my dad was like, I don't know, 21 or something, and he was like, "Wow, I could be your uncle."
Yep. So he was great, and Susan Olsen, it was nice to meet from the.
I'm trying to get her. I think she's a little worried about doing podcasts right now because she's come out as a Trump supporter and shit. And I told our mutual friend, I don't care what her politics are. I just want to talk about the Brady Bunch, you know?
Here's the thing, the funny story about meeting her is I walked up to her because I wanted to find out whether she had TAP or not.
Yeah.
And I got talking to her, and she was like, "You know her?" And she's pointing to my shirt because I had one of my Lisa Langlois class of 1984 shirts on.
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, she's a friend of mine." She goes, "I went to acting school with her." So we got talking about that, you know.
Yeah.
That was great. There was, and I spent, of course, a lot of time with Stephen there too, you know.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have spent more time with Lisa, but luckily she had a couple of really good assistants there, one of which helped me, was really helpful in helping me avoid having to pay another $82 cab ride back to the airport because he put an Uber app on my phone, which cost me considerably less.
Mm-hmm. So,
but I was hoping to assist Lisa more than I was, but it didn't work out that way, and but nonetheless, I did get some food for her here and there, you know. So, but
Ted Bohus was there. I have a story about him. You know, he's the guy who wrote and directed The Deadly Spawn, and I had him on in 21. I think he got kind of annoyed because I asked him if it was going to be his first ChillerCon, when in fact he's been there every year since 1991.
Who is it?
Ted Bohus. He wrote and directed The Deadly Spawn, a classic horror film from 1982. He used to work with Don Dohler. Don Dohler was a B-movie horror sci-fi filmmaker from Maryland, and he had a reputation for being a bully asshole, which he told me about during our conversation. He did this one I like called The Galaxy Invader, and I'm trying to get the leading lady from that on, but I don't think she wants to come on because Dohler was such an asshole. But Bohus, yeah, I mean, I think he got a little annoyed because I said, "Is this your first ChillerCon?" He's been there every year since 91.
I don't know who that is, though.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I ended up getting 22 autographs, and, you know, I think the last one I got there, I think might have been Christy Swanson, who I met again.
Oh, God.
Who hasn't done my show, but...
So let me ask you about Frightmare in the Falls. Like, okay, so you're debating now financially if you want to go there and stuff, right? But like, who's there? Who's scheduled so far that you want to meet?
I'm going to try to make it work. Part of me almost wants to take a weekend. Mm-hmm. I don't even know if I can afford to do this and Frightmare in the Falls because it's at the end of August for Fan Expo.
Yeah.
I'm almost tempted to go down on a Saturday and come back on a Monday because by the time I land here, I could still come here to work.
Right.
By the way, oftentimes, I know a lot of people will jet lag or whatever go, no, if I get there and can go to work that night, I go to work that night.
Yeah.
You know, I do that because, you know, it's an extra time I can get paid, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm half thinking about doing that towards the end of August because they got John Cleese is going to be there.
John Cleese?
And yeah, and believe me, that's tempting.
Yeah.
That alone would be worth it.
He's the original Python.
He's going to be there. Shannon Doherty is going to be there.
Oh, God.
Who's not doing very well health-wise.
I know. I listened to her podcast.
I've always liked Shannon. I've heard the controversy and stuff with her and on Beverly Hills 902. I always liked Shannon.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind. She's somebody I wouldn't mind meeting. Gina Carano is going to be there, and a lot of people know her from The Mandalorian. I love Haywire.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great action movie Steven Soderbergh made with Gina Carano, and he used her so well in that movie because she doesn't have a lot of dialogue,
Mm-hmm.
and she's got a great supporting cast around her, like Michael Douglas, Ewan McGregor, Michael Fassbender, you know, that, but where she doesn't have a lot of dialogue because it was an early role for her.
Right.
But so Soderbergh used her well because she does mostly action.
Right.
And I really like Haywire a lot. I enjoyed that film. Antonio Banderas is in that too, and
Right.
so she's got a good cast surrounding her. I want to get something signed from that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I liked her. I loved her in Haywire. Aside from that, the three Trailer Park Boys are going to be there again. A must for me. They're going to have, I think the whole cast from Letterkenny is going to be there. Again, wouldn't mind meeting them. I don't think I can meet them all, but I at least want to meet the gorgeous female lead from it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Danny Trejo is going to be there. McLovin, Superbad. I love Superbad.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like they got some really good cats. Oh, Sophia Boutella is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I loved her in Atomic Blonde. Again, an action film I loved Atomic Blonde.
Mm-hmm.
Charlize Theron. And so they got a lot of good people that's going to be there, you know. So it's very, very tempting to go down there for a weekend and do that. Now, Frightmare in the Falls, they've announced 6 guests.
Mm-hmm.
Out of those 6, the one that I'm really highly motivated to meet is Richard Dreyfuss.
Yeah.
You know, I like Richard Dreyfuss. Jaws, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. You know, What About Bob?
Yep.
Mr. Holland's Opus.
Let It Ride.
My Girl. You know, he's been in so much stuff. They just announced, they got both of the Raimis there. They've had Sam Raimi announced for a while. They just announced Ted Raimi today.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Sam Raimi would be a worthwhile meet.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not the biggest Evil Dead person. I know that's sacrilegious to say.
No, it's okay.
But I like them. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I don't love them.
Right.
I know he directed the first Spider-Man trilogy as well. I'm going to be alone here in saying this, and a lot of people will probably hate me for saying this, but I'm going to say it.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite Evil Dead film is actually Evil Dead Rise.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it because it took place in a high-rise, reminded me a lot of Demons 2. It took a lot of elements from the Evil Dead series. I think the problem is a lot of people want Bruce Campbell back, and it's kind of like, it's about the same as trying to get Robert Englund to do Freddy Krueger.
Right.
They're getting to the point where their ages are complicating them the physicalities. I'm not saying Robert Englund can't play Freddy still, and I'm not saying Bruce Campbell can't do Ash.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people were saying Evil Dead Rise is woke because I had a female lead. No. Actually, if anything, I thought she was badass.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was nothing woke about it, you know.
Yeah.
There was still a lot of humor in it, and I found myself really enjoying it. But, you know, I enjoyed it, but I respect those that prefer the others.
Mm-hmm.
But Sam and Ted Raimi would be worth the meet, but I wouldn't say they're 100% up there for me. like Richard Dreyfuss.
Yeah.
Eli Roth is scheduled. I'm not a big fan of the films. I did like Thanksgiving. I'll say that. I had a lot of fun at Thanksgiving, but that's the only film he's directed I had fun watching. I did not have fun with the Hostel films. Cabin Fever, I don't have fun with that, you know. Green Inferno, I don't want to see.
Yeah.
I think it's almost like he's trying to get people to throw up during his films.
Yeah.
It's like, stop. Now, if I got him to sign something, it would probably be the image of him with the baseball bat or whatever in Glorious Bastards, because I really enjoyed him in that.
Yeah.
You know, and the other ones they announced Tony Todd. I've heard great things about Tony Todd from Candyman. Thing is, I'm not a big Candyman person.
Yeah, neither am I. First one I like. After that, nah, not so much.
I respect the first Candyman.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, I'm not saying I wouldn't meet him, but he's not in the top tier list right now. And then they announced somebody that everybody went nuts for, and I'm like, who the fuck is this person? They announced Lars Fredriksson, who I guess is a musician.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I looked him up, and the earliest thing he did was from 1993, I think. Like, okay, I kind of tuned out of the music scene in the 90s, so I didn't know who Lars Fredriksson is. I'm glad there's people that are excited for him, you know? I'm not taking away anything. I've heard some rumors about certain guests that are going to be there that I'm excited for, but
yeah.
But I'm actually hoping there's not going to be many that I am, because that way I don't freaking do 22 autographs. Last year at Frightmare in the Falls, I met 31. I got 31 autographs, and it's like, for fuck's sake, you know? It's like, stop.
Yeah.
Stop. You know, because, you know, it's too much on your bank account, and, you know, you got responsibilities. Like I said, I've always kept my rent paid up, my phone bill paid, stuff like that. But it really puts you up against the wall when you do stuff like this. So I try to keep my priorities straight when I do this. So, I'm hoping that I'm able to go there and maybe pick a few people, you know. Even if it's just 5 people, it'd be like, okay, you know.
Right.
You know, like I'd even be happy with that. But what generally happens is that you get there and you get in the heat of the moment, and you meet people, and you want to potentially get people on your show. Sometimes it works, like with Anna Corpino, and sometimes it doesn't. Like, there's people I gave my card to that probably aren't going to get back to me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not expecting to hear back from William Catt or Rosanna Arquette. I'd like to, but I have serious doubts. And you know what? I'm okay. I had a good experience with them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, I'm hoping I'm able to hold back on getting so many autographs. So, you know.
Yeah, I skipped out on Sinister Creature Con last week for a couple of reasons. One was because my friend I usually go with, he was unavailable. And also, too, Alex Winter canceled. I was really looking forward to meeting him. And I want to meet Fairuza Balk, but it's like, if there's nobody else that I really want to meet, it's just like, it's not worth going. And there was a few other people there, like there was, what's his name, from Troll 2, and I'm blanking on who else at the moment, but it wasn't a ton of people that I was enthusiastic about. Maybe in October it'll be better. And plus, I'm still pissed about the whole Elvira situation last October, because the week after that con, she went to another con and posted a video of what happened there. And you know what happened there? Fucking, she had no plexiglass, and she was hugging people and being so nice and talkative. It's like, what the fuck does she have against Sacramento? Why the fuck was she so rude to us, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. You tend to remember stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for me, I think my favorite con I've ever gone to is still Horrorama, but maybe it's because it's the first one that I did there with Lisa, and it's a smaller con. I like the smaller cons because they're a lot more intimate, and you have a little more time with the guests.
Yeah.
But I get it. The bigger ones, you got more choices and this and that. But I don't know. Now, will I do any more in the States? Right now, I'd say no.
Yeah.
But you know what? I could change my mind on that.
Right.
But I did Chiller. I've heard a lot of good things about Chiller. And their guest lists go back clear to 1990. I was quite impressed with some of the people that are even passed away that were at that. Like, I did not know, like, Zoe Tamerlis-Lund from Miss 45 was at that in 97. I was like, fuck,
Yeah.
I didn't even know she had ever done one of these cons. And that was 2 years before she passed, so I was like...
Oh, I gotta tell you, Tom Wilson, who played Biff in Back to the Future, he has a memoir out called The Masked Man. He's got a hilarious story. I mean, it's a memoir that has kind of a a fairy tale element to it, and he starts by talking about his first ChillerCon appearance back in, like, I don't know, 2000, I want to say. And he said that, he met Jay North, who played Dennis the Menace, and Bernie Coppell, who played Doc on Love Boat. And he said that they were all warning him about the crazy fans that come to his table and the stalkers and all the weirdos and shit. It was so freaking funny because I kept thinking to myself, this is what fucking you and I, are lumped into, and this is what we've seen, getting trolled by fucking fans online and shit.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty pathetic because, I like to video myself when I do these trips.
Yeah.
So that, when I'm, my old age, hopefully, won't be for a while yet. When I'm lying on my deathbed, I can look at some of these and, relive the memories. But I remember I think I did 9 videos from Chiller, and I did one. Mom hates these videos where I video the propeller going outside the plane and take off. Yeah, Mom doesn't like those videos. But nonetheless, I filmed that, and some asshole gets on there and says, obviously a Biden supporter, what a waste of time for a video. And I'm sitting there thinking, what does this have to do with Joe Biden?
Yeah, I don't know. And
then they were post-trolling my videos. The one where I did a video of Stefan Armgren playing the harmonica, and there's another one where I did my haul video from Chiller. The same guy put hashtag Trump for President 2024, kick out all Trudeau liberal. Number one, I don't like Justin Trudeau, so that he can fuck off with that. Number two, I'm a Canadian, so I have no say on whether Trump or Biden wins, And number three, fuck off, I'm doing a video on my vacation. There's nothing to do with politics on there. I think I know who was doing it. They went under the name Red Devil on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I did report the person, but I think I know who it is. It's a failed author that I had interviewed.
Oh, yeah, you told me that story. Yeah.
Yeah, and he got trying to push the whole Trump thing on me on one of our private phone calls.
Right.
And I told him that I didn't agree with I don't agree with a lot of stuff about Biden either. But I certainly don't agree with a lot of stuff about Trump, and I told him that. and he got pissy at me, and he cut me off on Facebook. But then he comes at me on Instagram, a private message, trolling me about, and he hashtag pretty much the same wording as he did on those videos. And I'm sitting there thinking, look, Apple, nobody else has interviewed you on their podcast about your books.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else. And from what I'm seeing online, I don't see those books out anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm starting to wonder who this guy really is.
He's probably another David Zernhelt. I think I told you about that guy one time. He was this troll. I interviewed this guy who ended up being a fraud, right? That's a whole nother story. Maybe I'll tell it on your show when I come on in October. But this guy, David Zernhelt, he claims he wrote a book about the Friday the 13th series. There's no book exists online. He had some friend of his like make up a mock-up to make it look like that it was a real book and like read a passage from it in a YouTube video. And I had to block this guy on social media because he was saying a lot of horrible things about this guy, and it turns out he was right. I found out that much later, but still, I just thought it was rude that he was trolling my video, you know?
Yep. So my videos had nothing to do with Trump or Biden. Not only that, I'm a Canadian, so it's like, you know, but he was upset because I didn't. I don't care who he was voting for. My interest was interviewing him and treating him as a guest.
Yeah.
You know, but he severed that, and I don't see him being interviewed by anybody else. So it's like, congratulations, the one person that was helping you promote your non-existent shit.
Yeah.
Congratulations. And I'd be more than happy to tell anybody else about this guy, you know, because I'm not putting up with it. You know, it's just like with the 13 fanboy stuff. I think, like, Jason Bradford and I, he's one of the producers on, he and I have mended fences, and
right.
We've mended fences well. I'm right now reading his werewolf book, and I'm going to purchase a copy from him that he's going to sign. He and I have mended fences.
That's good.
Lisa Voorhees and I have not mended fences, and
I know.
Judy Aronson and I will probably never mend fences. I don't think I'll ever figure Judy Aronson out, you know?
Yeah.
But,
I don't know why she gave me her time. I really don't. That was I'm grateful, but it was a strange circumstance given everything I've heard about her ever since.
well, apparently she thinks I'm giving her way too much time when, really, I've never been to California, so this time I've supposedly given her... I hate to say this, but I'd hate to be a brain surgeon working on her, you know? Like, where do you come up with this?
I wanted to ask you about meeting Marky Ramone, because I have my Marky Ramone story.
You know what? I met him at Frightmare in the Falls, I think, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And I think it was the second day, and I went up and I got him to sign my Rock and Roll High School Blu-ray.
Okay.
And he signed a Rock and Roll High School one sheet that he had on his table, and he signed a drumstick.
Nice.
And I figured, you know what? Why not? That's an interesting little item. So he signed that. I gave him my card. I was hoping I'd get him on the show. He told me his website and stuff, but I've never heard back.
Yeah, when I interviewed him, he was very non-social during the signing part. Then we got up, we posed for the picture. His flamboyantly gay handler deletes my selfie with Jaretta, which I did not know until I got back to the hotel because he wanted to, get a better view on the camera. And then Marky looks at me and he goes, "It's the lens." And then that was it. That was my interaction with Marky Ramone.
Yeah, I liked them. Like I said, I like that signed drumstick. They brought that up.
Yeah.
And then a chair here, and it's all squeaky. but nonetheless, I had a good time meeting him. I love Rock and Roll High School.
Same here.
So, yeah. So I wouldn't mind having him on the show. I think he's the only living Ramon left. So.
Yeah, I got Alan end of the month. We don't have a date set, but he said circle back end of the month, and I was like, okay, I will.
Yeah, I've had Alan Arkish on 3 times, and probably my favorite story about him is I asked him, I think it was the second time I interviewed him, about Get Crazy being on Blu-ray, and he was adamant that it was not going to be on Blu-ray because of the rights of the song. On the 3rd interview, I brought this up to him, and I held up the Blu-ray, and I said, who called it? Who called it? And he was like, you called it. You did. I have fun. I have fun with Alan. I did. I reached out to have him on again this year for the film's 45th anniversary, but he never got back to me. You know what? I don't hold that against him. He's been on 3 times, so I've had good time with him.
I gave you Ivan Ross' email, so get him on.
Yeah, I'll have to do that. I did like Get Crazy, and it plays a great double feature with Rock and Roll High School. So watching Malcolm McDowell have a conversation with his dick was pretty funny.
We recently lost Robert Towne. You know, he wrote Chinatown, and you and I, we both have talked to Bruce Glover. I'm trying to get Nandu Hines on. She was the annoyed secretary in the movie, but she's hit and miss on social media. But I love a lot of Robert Towne's movies. The Last Detail, Personal Best, which is a very dirty women's Olympics movie with Mariel Hemingway. And I had one of the girls from that movie on for the 40th anniversary a couple years ago and stuff. Anything stand out of Robert Towne's movies?
Chinatown. Definitely
Yeah.
Chinatown. Yeah.
It's a masterpiece.
Yeah, I've had Bruce Glover on from that, and Chinatown's great, you know, so.
Yeah.
Pretty much Chinatown.
Yeah, it's funny. I have a VHS copy that was a reissue from the early 90s. And at that time, a lot of Paramount releases, for some strange reason, had licensing issues with the music. So they would get sound-alikes in, certain scenes or the end credits. And they sound so fucking weird and inauthentic. I have one for Chinatown and I have one for Trading Places. And I hate the sound-alike music. I really do.
So, I'm hoping to do Frightmare in the Falls this fall, and I don't know. I wouldn't mind going for a weekend for Fan Expo, but that's not written in stone. I got to keep things financially up for me, and I'm worried about that. Because I can't do the cons if I can't keep other things up. Like I said, tonight I paid my credit card and I paid my phone bill. So that knocked my pay down a little bit, but
you should get B. Waters to go to a con with you.
Who?
B. Waters, Bronwyn.
Bronwyn.
Yeah.
Love Bronwyn's great.
She's funny. She's outspoken. I think you and her would have a good time at a con.
I think we would, but Bronwyn's kind of on her own path here.
Yeah.
I don't see her very often.
Yeah.
I remember when I first met her, though. Like, her CD is great. I haven't read her book. I should look into that. But Bronwyn's great, and...
yeah, I'm glad I interviewed her. We bonded instantly over bisexuality.
Well, she's very, when looking back on that interview, it's like, oh my goodness, she's very articulate when she talks, and
yeah,
I think that's one of the best interviews I did at 2023.
And she also said you're articulate too. You have a brilliant mind.
Well, I don't think I'm up there with Bronwyn's a good, she's a good speaker, you know?
Yeah.
She, there was no pause with her, and she's just totally on. I think she'd be great at a con, to be honest. I think she'd be fantastic. But Bronwyn's a great person. I am going to reach out and have her on again later on in the summer. I haven't seen her face to face in a while, but she does live here in the city with me, so she's a fantastic person. But I do have her CD packed away in one of my boxes at the apartment. I have it.
Nice.
And and she was in American Sunset briefly as a bartender.
With Corey.
Corey Haim was in.
Yeah.
That played here, and at the...
You gotta get his sister on. His sister, Corey Haim. She is so wonderful, so sweet. She'll laugh at anything, and she does a little bit of stand-up comedy now.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having her on. I've thought about that, too.
Just don't mention Corey Feldman. She hates him.
Corey Feldman, I gotta say, an icon, teen icon from the 80s, but I'm gonna tell you, it was fucking weird meeting him at Frightmare in the Falls.
I heard.
And I don't want to be insulting. I gave him my card. He'll probably never come on. He signed my Friday the 13th, the final chapter Blu-ray.
He did a podcast recently, and he said, "I don't want to talk about the past." He literally said that, like in the first minute of the interview.
Oh, so he can predict the future?
Yeah, do you know what he said? I swear to God, he said this. I'm going to run for president in 10 to 15 years from now. It's like, oh my God, you're going to be at like fucking Biden's age by that point. Do you really want to fucking do that now?
You really want him to be president?
No.
I was down. One of the people that was helping Lisa and I at her table
was Carbaugh?
No, it was Justin Doobie. Great guy. Oh my goodness, a great guy. Love him. But he and I were seated in the lobby area. We both saw Corey Feldman from a distance, and we just looked at each other and we're like, "What is he on?"
Yeah.
It was just fucking weird. Like just watching him. Like what's he doing? You know? Yeah. And he ran out of there like he was ducking out of sight. And Justin and I just kind of looked at each other like, what? So I don't know. But anyway, no, that was a little fucking weird. And but I mean, I had a good time at that. But I'll take Corey Haim's sister on, but. Corey Feldman, I don't know.
No, Carrie Haim, she is a gem, a genuine gem, just the sweetest lady, and she's got great stories, and she's just a great human being. And yeah, she's just started doing stand up a little bit, and I haven't seen it. She hasn't like filmed it or put it on YouTube yet, but like. I'm just trying to picture it. I mean, she laughs at things, right? But I haven't heard her say like a ton of funny things. So I'm intrigued to see her do stand up. I showed her one of my videos. It was not her cup of tea because I was just going after everybody in the audience and stuff, you know, and saying horrible things, you know. But you know, she likes me and she's a good person.
What do you think about that? Speaking of which, you know, like Rob Schneider got into fucking trouble over.
I heard. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? Number one, if I was a stand-up comedian and some fucking woke asshole made a complaint and got me pulled off stage, that woke person would not be making it home in one piece because I'd beat the shit out of them right out in the parking lot. I know Rob a little bit. He is the sweetest guy. Rob Schneider is the sweetest guy. He gave me some great advice years ago, and he's just an all-around
awesome human being. It's sad, I mean, yeah, he's a little bit more conservative than a lot of comedy stars are. Like, that's why him and Sandler get along so well. But like, everybody's going through this. Both liberal and conservative comedians are going through the fucking woke thing.
Well, they had a thing, excuse me, downtown Toronto that's made the video. Excuse me. And I don't know whether it was, I think it was for Pride. I don't think it was a gay pride. I think it had to do with pride in general, like the trans thing.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I don't understand. They called it family friendly, but you had a lot of naked men walking down the street at this, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but how is okay. If I was to strip down and walk naked down our Regent Mall,
yeah,
do you think that families would respond well to that, or do you think I'd get fucking arrested?
You'd get arrested.
I'd get fucking arrested. How in the fuck do these people get a pass?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. These are the people that Justin Trudeau wants voting for him.
Yeah.
Fucker. Look, I don't care I don't care if a person is gay, trans, what they are,
Yeah.
Don't go forcing it on me,
Yeah.
Like, I work as a cleaner. And I've already, and of course my boss agrees with me, I'm hearing stories about, and again, I don't care what a person is in their private life.
Right.
I'm hearing stories about these furries in some of these businesses or schools or whatnot.
Oh, yeah, those guys creep me out. Yeah.
They think they're cats or whatever, and they're shitting in litter boxes.
Yeah.
Now, I clean my cat's litter box. My cat. Skittles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not cleaning a human being's litter box.
I know. I clean my cat's box as well.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I told my supervisor. I said the moment that comes into our field, I refuse to do it.
Right.
And the trans community or the furries or whatever, they can come after me all they want to. Fuck off. You want to do that in your own time? You go ahead. You're not going to force me to participate. I'm not cleaning your fucking litter box.
Mm-hmm.
You clean it. You clean it. You shit in it, you clean it.
Yep.
I clean my cat's litter box. I'm not putting up with this,
Yeah.
And I'm certainly not going to walk out in public naked where fucking children can see me. It's like I'm sorry.
That's fucking wrong.
Some of this has gone way too wrong.
I used to go to gay pride, and I stopped going because fucking they're starting to bring kids to them, and it's like fucking, there's guys going off in the fucking alleys and having threesomes or whatever. It's just like, think of the fucking children, man.
Well, yeah, it's getting to the point now where politicians are catering to this because they think they're going to get votes for it,
Yeah.
And it's like, again, like when I go to these conventions, I've met people who are trans.
Right.
I have no problem associating with them. I have no problem. But most people who have a brain know that whether they're trans or not, they know that they got to accept other people as they are. I'm not a bigot.
Yeah.
I'm not out there anti-trans or anti-gay or anti-this or anti-that.
Right.
But again, I don't need my rights trampled on either,
Mm-hmm.
So this whole, I don't know where it was. I was told one place here in Fredericton had the litter box thing, and I told my boss, I said, I won't do it. And my boss told me, you won't have to because we won't allow it.
Mm-hmm.
So I know there's people right now that are ripping the tampons out of the men's washrooms here, and I haven't done that. I don't get that, but you know what? I'm not ripping tampons out of the wall. I'm not destroying property. It has happened to a few buildings, but not by any of the people that I work with. So But it has happened down in the base, though, so, from what I'm hearing.
So the last thing I wanted to ask you, Greg, how's your eyes? Because I know you got cataracts now.
Oh, yeah, that was interesting. See, that's another reason why I can't stalk Judy Aronson, you know? My eyesight's not as good as now, you know? I have to get my right eye better so I can see her better, you know? Mm-hmm. Although I used to see double out of that eye. Maybe, you know, seeing more than one of her might be good. Actually, in all seriousness,
yeah,
it was January the 10th.
Mm-hmm.
I was at one of the cleaning locations, and there was, like, black floaties in my right eye. And it was very distracting, and I went to my eye doctor, and he told me it just comes with age.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm going to be 52, so I'm like, okay, all right, okay. So, anyway, another 10 days, it was actually January the 20th, exactly 10 days later, I leave my brother's apartment, and I go to the same work area to do an overnight, and I don't even know the particular moment it happened, but all of a sudden I had like a black sheet, looked like a black curtain over my right eye that covered about 75% of my vision. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, this is beyond just getting old, you know?
Right.
So I went to the eye doctor, and he told me that I need to have a retina operation. Now, here's the problem. Mm-hmm. Retina operation had to happen in Halifax, which is 4.5 hours away. And I've never been to Halifax before. Now, my sister-in-law's family's from Nova Scotia, so my younger brother's been down there with her. But anyway, that was a Tuesday when I heard this.
Right.
Wednesday morning, I get home from an overnight. It's about 7:30 in the morning, and I'm getting ready to settle into bed, because I sleep during the day. I'm just getting settled into bed, and all of a sudden my phone rings about 8 o'clock. I answer it. Eye doctor tells me that I got to be in Halifax by 1 o'clock for an operation, retina operation. I said, I don't think so. How do I make that happen?
Right.
Because they don't want you driving. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, I have 20/20 vision out of my left eye, so you know. But nonetheless, I said I can't be there, and he goes, you don't have a way there? And I said, well, you don't want me to drive? Mm-hmm. He said, do you have nobody that can take you? And I said, well, maybe my younger brother, but he is at work. He will owe his employer an explanation.
Right.
You know, it's not just me being affected here. He can't just drop everything and take me down there by 1. But I told him, I said, I'll call Andrew and see what he says. So I did not want to bring this up to Andrew, you know, but nonetheless, I brought it up, and because Andrew's one of these people. He's very helpful, but he hates having stuff lauded at him on the spot. Uh-huh. But anyway, he responded very well to this because he knew I was having issues with the eye. Mm-hmm. So anyway, he said there's no way he can get me there that day. He said the earliest he could do would be Friday. So I got back to them, and they phoned the place in Halifax. They got back to me and said, okay, you're booked in for your consultation on Friday. And I said, no. I said, if I go down there, travel 4.5 hours down there, I'll do the consultation, then I'll do the operation, then I'll come back. I'm not doing the consultation and then Monday doing the fucking operation. Because we'll have to either drive back and then drive back to Halifax again, I'm paying the fucking gas here. And not only that, I had to compensate my brother because he was missing a day or two of work to do this.
Right.
So I paid my brother for his time, which I was not going to. I mean, he was taking 2 days off work.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to compensate him. That was just. It was in the. There was no way I was going to get him to do this without. Anyway, so they get back to me and they said, okay, Monday. That was Monday the 30th of January. I think it was Monday the 30th. So I called my brother. Okay. So regularly they want you down there immediately. But like I said, if they don't want me driving, and I've never been to Halifax before, so we made a road trip out of it. And my brother drove my car, and I paid the gas. My brother ordered a hotel, and I put it on my credit card, and I took care of that. So I went down there, and I did the consultation on the 30th. And they were going to have me there. They told me they didn't want me to eat anything.
Mm-hmm.
Fasting.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And,
I've been there.
They wanted me in there the following morning for the operation. Now, interestingly enough, is the hotel where we were staying, you go downstairs in the elevator, and there's a little mall area, and there's a theater. Yeah. Out of all the movies there, the one that was playing that I hadn't seen was The Zone of Interest. I went and saw the fucking Zone of Interest the night before my operation. But for anybody listening to this, I'm going to tell you how this goes.
Okay.
Number one, if you've got floaties in your eye, get it checked out. But I'm going to give anybody that's listening what this process is like so that, you'll know what to expect. And to me, it was nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be. My brother took me there. I filled out some paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
And they got me I had to, take all my clothes off and put the little rope thing on. And they wheeled me in to this room, and they had me lay on this stretcher bed thing, and they put this nice warm blanket over top of me. They told me what they were going to do, and I wasn't put under for this. And I was wondering, I was nervous about that, because I knew that they were going to be operating on my eye.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to tell for anybody listening who goes through this, it's painless. It's not comfortable, but it's painless.
Mm-hmm.
They put a thing over my face to cover up all except for my right eye, which was going to be operated on.
Right.
They did like a Clockwork Orange thing to keep my eye open, which made me nervous, but they would spray inside of it to keep the water in it. And
yeah.
I could hear them talking and stuff as I was laying there, and they said if I had any question to just say something or raise my hand or something, and
Mm-hmm.
so they operated. I didn't feel any pain because they freeze it up so you don't feel anything. They don't put a needle in your eye. They put it in and around the eye area.
Right.
And so they freeze it up so you don't feel anything. And it was, I didn't feel anything. It was actually not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Afterwards, they told me as long as I had a drive, I could go right home. So that was fun, going home. Because I had to get some medication, eye drops. On the way home, I told Andrew, they told me I could eat.
Mm-hmm.
But, On the way home, I was feeling sick because of the medication or whatever that was they gave me.
I bet.
I had those, those not plastic bags, but those reusable grocery bags.
Yep.
I had a whole bunch of them. I think I have about 5 of them. I ended up throwing them all out by the time I got home because I said to my brother, not once, not twice, but 3 times on the way home, I'm going to be sick. I opened the bag up and threw up. And it got to the point, because I had it double bagged,
yeah.
It was like it was leaking through on the floor. I was like, fuck!
Shit.
But nonetheless, yeah, it was just from the anesthetics or whatever, but I threw up nose, but my brother bought me, I think we went to Subway or something, he bought me a sub or something, and I ate that, but on the way home I had to throw up a few times, but nonetheless, yeah, but I'll tell you one thing, I got home, called my supervisor and told her that I finally made it home, and I was told by the doctor I should take a week off work. Well, here's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
If I take a week off work, I don't get fucking paid.
Mm-hmm.
So, I told him, I said, I can't do that because my cat ain't going to get a fucking job. So, he said, okay, don't lift any more than 20 pounds, which as a cleaner, I can do that. Yeah, I can limit myself like that and still get my work done. Called my supervisor. She said, are you sure you don't want to rest tonight? I said, look, I want paid. I said, can you drive? I said, I can see out of my left eye. My right eye was covered up. I said, I can see. And I did drive to work. It wasn't that far away. It would have been about 15-minute walk from my place, but I drove there and I went to work.
Yeah.
And I did my job. I did my job comfortably. And I had a patch over my eye. And I didn't feel any pain. I had to use some eye drops.
Yeah.
And later on, a few weeks later, I had to get a cataract operation.
Yep.
Luckily, I got to do that right here in Fredericton. Now, that was very much the same thing. They keep your eye open. They give you the anesthetics, the anesthesia, what the fuck it is there. They give the needle, and I was okay. They froze it, and I got to do that right here. Same thing, it was painless, and it was pretty quick. So I did that, and next I had the laser thing done, which I did right in the guy's office. So right now, if I look out, I still take the eye drops, so if I look out of that eye, I can see stuff, but stuff's a little distorted.
Right.
Like lines are a little wavy, but they told me my vision will not be 100% in that eye, but it'll be better than it was, which I can tell you right now is. But I get around well, and I can get around and do my thing, and so...
I've been lucky. I haven't had any eye trouble. It's like Terry Kaiser said in Weekend at Bernie's, I'm glad my eyesight's going and not the old joystick, if you know what I mean.
Well, again, it's not a painful procedure,
Yeah.
So I mean, I got it done, and it's now on its way to healing, and I think I'll be okay. Now, in preparation for it, I watched some videos on people that had it done. It's funny. One of the benefits why I want to move to Toronto, one of the videos I watched was a 23-year-old female who had this done. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you didn't have to leave Toronto to do it.
Right.
And just fucking go from Fredericton to Halifax, But nonetheless, I listened to a few videos of people that had it done, and I kind of got an idea of what to expect, and it certainly made me less nervous.
Yeah.
Because they all said the same thing. It's not painful. It's just a little uncomfortable, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you feel a little bit of pressure, but like I said, you don't feel pain. So for anybody listening who's got this coming up, you're going to be okay. Chances are you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. They don't put you under for it, but nonetheless, you're going to be okay.
So who's on your podcast schedule coming up?
The only one I have scheduled is Gary Myrink, musician that Mike Gormley had put me in touch with, sent my way. He sends a lot of people my way, and this is like the third person this year, so he's scheduled on my birthday, so I'm sure. Outside that, I don't have anybody scheduled right now.
Yeah, no? I got Paul Link tomorrow, and I got Rebecca Stab from the 1994 Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie. If you've never seen it, it's been bootlegged on YouTube because it's still never been released. I got, there was this girl group in the 80s called Betty, and I got one of the girls from the group coming on. And who else do I got? I got somebody else I can't even think of offhand at the moment. But, yeah, that's on my schedule.
Any day now, Judy Aronson's going to come on. I'm sure of it. I feel it. I feel it. I feel she's just going to go come on.
Oh, my God. Get all those people that I threw your way, okay?
You have thrown some people my way. I got to get out a few of them, you know.
Yeah.
I am going to do something that I haven't done on the show before. There's a few people in the political circuit here that I want to have on.
Yeah.
Because I'm very much pro Polyev. I hope if he becomes prime minister, I hope he does not fuck this up.
Yeah.
Because I'll feel really, really stupid. But I'll tell you right now, he's our best option. He sounds promising, and we need something, because what we have is fucking turning Canada into a communist fucking country right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we need a change here in Canada.
You had me on the floor the other night. Grunt sounds like when I take a shit.
Oh, you mean Grunt the wrestling movie?
Yeah. Oh my God.
I don't know that movie.
It's on YouTube.
That movie.
It's on YouTube. Alan Holzman, who directed it, I've had him on, and I've had his wife on. His wife was in Get Crazy. She was Laurie Eastside's keyboard player, and they are great people, really great people. They know Jim Wynorski because they worked together on Battle Beyond the Stars, you know, and a bunch of other New World movies and stuff. Yeah, reach out to Alan Holzman.
Okay. Yeah, and I gotta get that girl from Animal House on here sometime too.
Oh, Maida?
Yeah, because I'd like to get her on to talk Animal House, but if she's married to Eric Roberts...
Oh, no, that's Eliza, yeah.
Yeah, because I want to ask Eric Roberts what it was like working with me.
Yeah, because you were both in the movie, but he was watching you on TV, right? Is that what happened?
It Wants Blood. I think I was directed by James Balsamo. I think I was the easiest person he ever worked with. He never had a complaint about me.
I'm still pissed about that interview that Balsamo gave me. He was such a dick to me that day.
I don't know. I've had him on 5 times. You never know what you're going to get with Balsamo.
Yeah, fuck him. It's all right. It's all good. Did you know this whole time firecrackers have been going off outside?
Why? You've been whacking off?
Not yet. Greg, thanks for coming on here on 4th of July, man. This has been a lot of fun.
I haven't been coming at all.
I know. You need to fucking get on that. You're going to have a heart attack, man.
Oh, jeepers. I'm still going. I am still going. And, you know, I'm still here, but I'm still working, and I'm hoping eventually to make Toronto happen.
You will.
I love Toronto. A lot of people here bitch about Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't know. I see it from the same point of view as Lisa. You know, a lot of people that complain about Toronto have never lived there. And I see it from the same standpoint as Lisa. I see a lot of opportunity. I love every subway stop I can get off and there's like something new, you know, and I love the theater scene. I could have seen Kinds of Kindness in Toronto, I know that. Fucking didn't get it here, but we'll probably get that shitty fucking Twisters movie. Fuck Twisters. I like Glenn Powell, who's starring in it.
Yeah.
But I was a fan of Glenn Powell when he did the extremely underrated Everybody Wants Some, which I saw 9 times in theaters. I recommend that movie strongly. I love that movie. But I have no desire to see Twisters, you know?
Yeah.
So, so other than that, yeah, but you dig up a lot of these films I never heard of before, too, you know? A lot of times you pitch something.
Hopefully when I come on in October, you'll have already watched them and we can talk about those.
Oh, I saw one of them.
Which one?
I saw the Alpha incident, and I'm like, I thought you said that was fucking funny.
It is, because fucking John Goff, he's trying to get with that chick the whole movie, and he's this fucking fat slob.
I didn't find it funny. Actually, I didn't think it was a terrible movie, but I was like, you know, I'm not seeing the humor, you know?
Yeah.
And I hated the ending of the movie, I gotta say that.
I know, it's not one of my favorite endings, but I still like the movie, you know, and I remember asking John, I was like, do you know if that train station still exists? And he said, I have no idea, I haven't been back there since we made it. I'm like, wow.
And I don't know whether I saw a cut version or whatnot, like, did Buck Flowers, did they kill him in the movie?
I can't remember, no, but I talked to the director, Bill Rebane, a few years ago. He's a little out there and shit, and there's so much I wanted to ask him. He just didn't have anything positive to say about any of his movies. It was a weird conversation I had with him.
Yeah, so, I mean, it wasn't a terrible movie to watch, but it, you were telling me how funny it was, and I was like, I'm not finding this funny. At all, you know, but nonetheless, you know, whatever the case, it wasn't a terrible movie, you know. I mean, I've seen worse.
Well, I mean,
I wouldn't give it a thumbs down, you know. But,
yeah. Well, the guy, the scientist with the beard, Paul Benson, I interviewed him last year. Great guy. If you want me to connect you with him, I can. He was in a lot of Bill's early movies, and he's also a musician.
Who is he in Alpha Incident?
He's the guy with the beard and the well-coiffed hair, the scientist.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I know who you're talking about.
Paul Benson, yeah, he's a sweet guy.
Sure.
Because I'll tell you, John tried to connect me with the screenwriter Ingrid Newmeyer, who's Bill Rebane's niece, and she literally said, fuck that, I am not going on any show talking about that fucking movie. Like, she does not want to talk about any aspect of show business or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. No, but I don't know. I like exploring new content and whatnot. It's funny. I just got a new TV about a month ago, and I still don't have that thing of its fucking box yet. That should go to show you right there how much I work and how much I sleep. You know, if I get a chance to go to a movie theater once a week, I do. This weekend, I'm obviously going to go to St. John because fucking Frederick didn't get Maxine. Fuck them on that. I am going to go see Maxine because I want to fucking see it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I try to do the interviews whenever I get a chance, but I can do those right at the apartment.
Oh, yeah.
That makes that easier. I don't have to go to the station for that anymore. And I got a couple of outlets where I can let that happen, but I am going to try to get a few people in the political circuit on here to talk about the situation going on here in Canada, because I am very concerned about Canada right now and the corrupt leadership that we're dealing with here in 2024. So, or for the last several fucking years. So there's a few people I'd like to have on that either in the media or whatnot to talk about the current situation here. Because, I mean, not only is Trudeau not popular, but Jordan Peterson, Elon Musk, and Joe Rogan aren't fans of his either. So take that for what you have it.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Greg. Well, you have yourself a happy 4th. Don't work too hard out there, and have a great night.
All right, you take it easy, man.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.
Well, there you have it. Greg Gilbert. Oh, my God. He is such a character. Every time we talk, it's always a barrel of laughs. He's such a funny guy. Well, until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Liar, dudes. Happy 4th of July.